Okay, so now we have gotten our project to compile, and we've run the simulation, and we got all tests passed, and now we have programmed our board. And we are so frustrated because the board didn't show what we expected it to do. We would switch the switches and we would not see any output. And as a matter of fact, if we looked at the LEDs on the DE0 board, they all seem to be dimly lit. And so we need to solve this problem. The problem is your QSF file is incorrect. What is the QSF file? The QSF file is actually one of the files that you downloaded, as well as a file that exists every time that you create a project. It's basically the recipe that the program uses to know what to do. It knows what chip you're using on your DE0 board. It knows whether you're using Model Sim Altera or you're using some paid version. It basically has all sorts of information. If we take a look at it, we can actually even see all of the steps that are listed and all of the defaults that have been listed for your particular project. And this changes every time you save your project. When you created a new project, if you created a new project, then you created a new QSF file. I have given some of you, or if you had Tuesday's Lab or later, you have the entire project. Others of you have started a project on your own, and so then you downloaded the files. And unfortunately, when it asked if you wanted to copy over the downloaded QSF file to the new QSF file, you probably said no. So you have the wrong QSF file, and if you click on, up in the Project Navigator, if you click on QSF, your file probably looks just like this. You have all of the comments, which are just basically given to you, and then we see that the first step says set global assignment under dash name family Cyclone 5. And there's nothing that indicates what the pin assignments are for this Cyclone 5 DE0 board. Somehow we have to tell the chip, the Cyclone 5 chip, that there are actually wires going to the 7-segment displays, and we have to tell that chip which pins to use. And so we have this mapping that exists, and it exists in the QSF file that you downloaded. The solution then is to go and scroll through your files until you find your downloaded files. Looking here, I happen to have my downloaded files, and I'm just going to go backwards a little bit, and we see that this was where I have my zip files that I got from the Google page, and then I extracted them all into a 7-segment converter. Just scrolling through there, I'll go ahead and look at them, and notice that I have a QSF file. This is actually a text file, and so I'm just going to open it with Notepad. Looking at it in Notepad, I'll open it up, and we can see it's a little bit different than the QSF file we were looking at. As a matter of fact, it's all exactly the same except for these lines right here, which happen to be here in Notepad, lines 39 through 70. And if we look at it, we see it is actually a mapping. It's a mapping from a pin on the Cyclone 5 chip to the switch that we've labeled as W. Right? And we label, these are input switches, the switches that we have on our DE0 board. And we also have assignments for our 7-segment displays, A through G. And so we have a pin assignment to a variable name. And we need these lines of code in our QSF. The easy thing to do is to just highlight them and do a copy outside of your project, and then go back to your project, go back to Quartus, and just insert these into your project. Just notice where I'm putting it. I'm putting it here below all of my commented lines. But before this set global assignment, this is where I want my mappings. And so I'll just, man, if I paste it, yeah, so I pasted it to make sure I didn't lose any lines. Okay, I didn't lose any. Actually, I'm just going to put a space there just because I like spaces so that it's very clear that I actually even got the line for G. Spaces don't matter in this text file. So there I have it. I have all of my pin assignments. If you downloaded the entire project, you shouldn't have to do this, but this would be the solution if you happen to not see any mappings when you actually programmed your board. Anyway, from there you can go ahead and save all, and you can recompile, and everything should work great from there. Have a great day. Okay, bye.